Hello everyone, good morning from Singapore. Today I got another day packed full of eating. Tonight I have reservations specializing in Peranakan food, which is a unique and rare cuisine that you can pretty much only try in Singapore. This afternoon I also have reservations for afternoon tea, as well as I'll be checking in to my next hotel, which is the Four Seasons. But before all that and whatever else I get down to during the day, I'll be heading down to breakfast one last time at the Summit Room, which I'm looking forward to because I can almost already taste that spicy fish curry. I just placed my order here at the Summit Room, and of course I got the spicy fish curry, and somehow I missed another special dish on my first time here. They have the crispy egg confit, which uses Kaluga Queen caviar. For my drink, I had to try their special Shangri-La tea, which I unfortunately missed out on my first time, so I don't really know why I didn't get a drink, but I'm certainly gonna make up for it. Here we go, a taste of the famous Shangri-La blend. That is a very delicious black tea. It really reminds me of the 1837 black tea from TWG. It really has that same sort of fruity black tea flavor, and then this one also has a bitter finish as well, which makes it a little bit more refined. Here is my crispy duck confit, and this is impressive. It looks like some sort of fried topping, and then you have a soft boiled egg on the bottom, a light, airy, creamy sauce, and then on top you have a very small amount of that precious caviar. I'll just start by breaking into that beautiful egg yolk, and it's very dark and orange, just like a high quality egg should be. I got a perfect bite with some of the crispy pieces as well as the egg and sauce. Wow, this is just ridiculously good. In fact, I almost want to say it's too good. I mean, you have the delicious soft-boiled egg, which never disappoints, and then I taste the crispy pieces, and then hits the sauce, which is really light and foamy, almost like a meringue, but despite it being light, it's very rich in flavor. It tastes all the cream and butter. Now I must try a bite with the caviar, and I think I understand the purpose of the caviar, because caviar in general is very salty, so it's going to help cut through some of the richness of this cream sauce. Oh, that is fantastic. The caviar does cut through some of the richness, and I love the salty taste of it as well, which makes it even more flavorful. And then at the end, you get earthy finish. But what I will say is if you really want to enjoy caviar, you still have to try it the traditional way with like bellinis or toast, because you can't taste it quite as much in this dish. It's time for my final dish here at the Summit Room, the spicy fish curry. Oh, that is truly fantastic. Just as great as the first day I had it. And to me, the really special part is not the fish in there, but the curry leaves. So that is the most flavorful part of the curry. I mean, the curry leaves are fresh. They have this really crunchy and crisp texture, and they have this incredible aromatic curry flavor. This just kind of spreads throughout your whole body. I'm telling you, this fish curry is truly something to behold. If you're dining here at the Summit Room, I see you have to get this every single day. Oh, that was just a fabulous last breakfast at the Summit Room. I mean, I feel like staying here in the Valley Wing almost is worth it just so you can eat breakfast at the Summit Room, since that is one of the best hotel breakfasts I've ever had. Now I'll be heading off to Chinatown, which I wanted to visit a couple of days ago, but I ran out of time, so I decided today I gotta make it up and explore all of Chinatown, especially one of the hawker centers there. I finally made it here to Chinatown, and right now I'm in front of the Buddha Tooth Temple, which is one of the most famous and most ornate temples in Singapore's Chinatown. I'm just gonna go ahead and take a look inside, and I don't think it'll take very long since it's a pretty small area. This is the entrance to the Buddha Tooth Temple. Out front they have complimentary incense, which you can place right here. The inside hall is ornate and covered in gold, and it's so dazzling, it's almost blinding. There was another area filled with religious artifacts, none of which I'm familiar with, yet it was really impressive to see how this temple was just put together. I just finished up here at the Buddha Tooth Temple, and if you're looking for a grand and cultural experience in Singapore, this is definitely the place to be. My second stop is Chinatown Complex, which is right behind the Buddha Tooth Temple. Chinatown Complex is the largest hawker center in Singapore, and it's really easy to get lost in there, I've heard, and I do have a couple of places in there that I want to try, and I'm sure I'll see some other incredible stalls in there, because I know this is just like a treasure trove of good eats. The first stall I stopped by is this famous herbal soup stand. It gets really popular on the weekends, and I've seen that they've had huge long lines, but because I'm here for an early Friday lunch, there was no line at all. I got their #1 bestseller, which is a black chicken herbal soup. Yes, you heard that right. They use this special variety of chicken that has black skin, so I'm really curious to see what that tastes like. And then it also comes with some sort of drink on the side, so I guess I'll try that first. Oh, that's very interesting. It's just like a hot Chinese medicine drink, so I already know just by taking one small sip that it's going to be very healthy. First off, I gotta start with the taste of the broth. Oh, that is a very mild and clean tasting broth. On its own, it tastes a little sweet, and it definitely does taste herbal, just like the name herbal soup. But now I want to go for a piece of the chicken, which looks really interesting with its deep black skin. Oh my goodness, just as I picked this up, this chicken is just falling apart because of how tender it is. Oh, the chicken is really nice. Because it's been cooked so long in that big, large clay pot that they use to cook these soups, it is very tender. And I mean, seriously, it's actually kind of hard to pick up with chopsticks because it just falls off the bone immediately. I'll be honest, this is not the most delicious thing I've eaten at the hawker center, but this is definitely the healthiest item I've ever eaten at a hawker center. So I could see why this place is really popular, because it must have some magical health benefits. So in that case, I'm gonna quickly finish this up. The second stall I stopped by is famous for their fish maw and pig stomach soup. And yes, you heard that right. This is fish maw, which is like the ear bladder of a fish mixed with pig stomach, which is something I've actually eaten in the past since my grandma used to make pig stomach soup and pig stomach congee. First, I'll be starting off with the broth, which looks like a very rich and milky broth. It almost looks like the Korean beef soup. Oh, that is so bright and flavorful. I love the taste of that broth. It's really rich and milky and creamy, and I taste all the fat from the chicken that's part of the stock. And then there's also a significant amount of white pepper, which just gives it this kind of floury and aromatic taste. They also have tender pieces of chicken in here. Oh, that is great as well. It's just like a juicy chicken leg, fall off the bone, and there's still plenty of fat remaining, even though it's been soaking in the soup. And now I want to try the fish maw, which I'm really curious about. This is the ear bladder of fish, and it's very common in Chinese cuisine. Despite that, I've never actually tried fish maw before. Oh, that is really tasty. I love that. It does not taste like fish at all. It really does taste like a tofu. It basically tastes like a fried tofu puff. So it really absorbs all the broth, and it's just like a sponge. So as you bite into it, it just pours all of the delicious soup broth into your mouth. So it's just like a vessel for the soup. Finally, I'll be trying the pig stomach. Wow, I am certainly impressed by the quality of that pig stomach. Usually the pig stomach I would have back in California has a little bit of a barnyard taste, and it's really intense, but here it is so mild. I mean, I do not taste any of the funk at all. It just tastes like a delicious piece of pork fat. I mean, it's slightly chewy, and then to go with a sip of that broth, and then also they give you a little bowl of rice. I mean, this is just an amazing combo. I mean, this is totally my type of hawker center lunch. This soup is so hot and comforting. Yes, it is a bit warm outside, but this is by far the coolest day I've had in Singapore because I'm next to the edge of the hawker center, so I'm able to get a lot of airflow, and it's not too hot outside either. If you're in Singapore, Chinatown Complex is a must-try because of how big it is. I mean, it's literally so large with so much delicious food, I could just live in there. Now I'll be heading back to the Shangri-La as I'll be transferring hotels to the Four Seasons. Before leaving Chinatown, I checked out some of the colorful murals, as well as all the picturesque architecture. There was something satisfying with just seeing all these brightly painted buildings. Then I was back in another taxi, and up the driveway to Valley Wing for the final time. Oh, I'm gonna miss this room here at the Shangri-La because this was a great experience. I booked the room for $525 a night, and I know that's expensive, but that's the cheapest I've ever seen a hotel suite, so I thought this was exceptional value. If you're looking for a luxury hotel in Singapore and you don't want to be completely poor after leaving Singapore, the Shangri-La is a great option. That being said, I think I'm going to head over to the Four Seasons now and drop my bags off really quick and then head off to the Atlas Bar for their afternoon tea experience, which is one of the most popular afternoon teas in all of Singapore. I just got seated here at the Atlas bar for the afternoon tea, and it starts off with a welcome drink. You can choose the alcoholic or non-alcoholic, so I went for the non-alcoholic, which is a cold brewed peach oolong tea. Oh, that definitely tastes classic of a cold brew tea. I mean, first you're hit with the tea flavor, it has a really strong body, it's very bitter, almost like a coffee, and then at the end you get a little bit of a fruity peach finish. After the welcome drink, they brought out a little amuse-bouche before the main afternoon tea course, so I'm really impressed with all these little bites and stuff. So this is a mushroom ragu topped with potato foam, and that is intriguing because I feel like anytime there's foam with a dish, it always makes it more luxurious. Wow, that's so interesting. I've never had anything like it before. I mean, the mushroom on the bottom is like a puree mushroom, and on top you have the potato foam, which almost tastes like mashed potatoes mixed with meringue. So it's like a really airy foam mixed with potatoes. They just brought out the tier of all the different afternoon tea items, and then they also took my order for my tea, and I decided to go for their lychee rose. The first one is the coronation egg brioche, and this looks like a really nice and fluffy brioche, and it looks like a very flavorful egg salad. I mean, it looks orange, and there looks like there's a little bit of chilies on top. Oh, that's delicious. That definitely tastes like a Singaporean touch. I taste a little bit of cilantro as well as the chili peppers on top, and there's also a touch of a little bit of lemongrass flavor, so this definitely feels like a Singaporean style egg salad sandwich. Now let's try the lychee rose tea, which I'm looking forward to because lychee and rose are one of my favorite pairings. Oh, that is a beautiful cup of tea. Just like the welcome drink, it's very smooth at the beginning, and this one is not bitter at all. The first thing I taste is the rose, and it just tastes like I'm sitting in a rose garden, sipping on a light lychee tea. Next we have the lobster on crystal bread, and this just looks like a lobster salad, and I'm looking forward to this because I love lobster. Ooh, that is delicious. It's just a sweet and briny lobster mixed with a little bit of mayo, so it's not too heavy. And you have crisp pieces of celery on top of a crunchy piece of bread. Next we have the smoked salmon roulette topped with Kaluga caviar, which is the same caviar I had at breakfast. Ooh, the pastry is flaky and layered, and I love that the smoked salmon is mixed with cream, so it makes it a little less strong, a little salty, a little less intense. And then you get the caviar on top, which does bring back some of the more brininess and saltiness that the salmon's missing. Next we have the tomato and basil arancini, and they gave me actually 2 of these since one of the other items had a shrimp, and I have a shrimp allergy. That's pretty tasty. The outside is like a deep fried breadcrumb shell, and then inside is filled with tomato basil flavored potatoes. My only critique is this one is a little bit heavy. Next we have what looks to be like a little mini scone, and it's topped with some grated cheese on top. Oh, that's delicious. It tastes like a little puff pastry filled with a tiny bit of bacon, and then it's topped with Parmesan cheese. Now for the sweets, this one is the popcorn cream cone, and this one looks pretty interesting. It looks like some sort of kettle corn on top, and I'm guessing it's maybe a popcorn flavored cream, or perhaps just a caramel flavored cream. Oh, there's something just really satisfying about biting into that first piece of caramel corn, and then beneath it, you just have like a caramel cream. It is very sweet, but I still enjoy it. Next, we have the Canal de Bordeaux. Oh, that is very nice. I love that. The outside is really hard and crunchy. The inside is soft and chewy, and it has a bright, zesty orange flavor, so it tastes like there's plenty orange zest. Now I gotta go for the scone, which comes with clotted cream, so I'm gonna go ahead and try that first, just with the clotted cream, because this does look like high quality scone. Now, I'll be honest, the scone is just alright. It's a little bit on the dry side, even with the clotted cream, but I'll try it with the jam. So I mean, this jam will probably make anything better, because it looks like some sort of flavorful berry jam. Wow, that tastes like a freshly made blackberry jam. I love all the seeds in there. It's got the perfect balance of sweetness and tartness, and that actually transforms the scone and makes it very tasty actually. Next we got the blueberry choux. And the blueberry choux is just alright as well. It's a very thin pastry, so it does get a little soggy from the cream. It's just basically like a whipped cream mixed with blueberry jam. Next we have the strawberry rhubarb tart. That one's pretty good. I love the richness of the strawberry. Definitely taste the body and the heftiness to it. It's got a rich, sweet, tart flavor. And then the end, you get a very slight hint of the rhubarb. For our second to last sweet item, they have the rum baba, which makes a lot of sense since we are at a bar after all. Okay, that one would probably be delicious if you're into alcohol, but personally, not a fan of that one. It's a very fluffy white cake, so the quality is there, and then you're hit with a strong and sort of fruity taste of the rum, and then you get hit with the alcohol at the end. Finally, we have this pistachio bonbon to end off our afternoon tea. Oh, that is delicious. That is the best way to end off the afternoon tea. A thin white chocolate shell filled with the pistachio cream. I like that the pistachio cream uses pistachio extract, so it's a little bit more flavorful and intense. And just like that, that is the end of my afternoon tea experience here at the Outlets Bar. And overall, I thought it was a bit of a mixed bag. For the most part, I would say I enjoyed the food. Just a couple of them were misses, but the real reason to come here is for the atmosphere, because this is just inside of a really beautiful, decorated Gothic building, and the interior of this area feels almost like a lounge more than a bar. If you're looking for a fun, loungy afternoon tea vibe, this is definitely the place to head to in Singapore. Okay, one last thing. Because I told them it was my birthday in advance, they brought out a little birthday dessert. It looks like a little bit of cake with some ice cream on top. Okay, now that I'm actually done with the afternoon tea, let's head to the Four Seasons and check in, and I'll give you a little room tour. Now that I checked into the room, let me give you a quick room tour. After entering, off to our right we have a small closet, and inside of here we have the hotel safe, as well as a couple of umbrellas. These four doors here to the left open up and turn into this really long and spacious closet, which is useful because I actually have a lot of garments that I'll be hanging up. Here's the main bedroom, and I love how spacious it is in here. We have a large king bed, and they also brought in a small roll-in bed as well. Right here we have the mini bar, and it is very well stocked with plenty of water. I love that they give you large bottles of water. And then beneath it, you have a little mini fridge. In front of the beds we have a large flat screen TV, and then off to the left we have the view. So let's take a look. This is what I call a proper view. We have a view of all the surrounding area. We can see all the buildings, and then off to our right side we have a view of some greenery in the distance. In the bedroom, we also have a vanity area with a large mirror, and then the table below, which is a little bit on the small side. Finally, we have a desk with two chairs, and right here they left a little cake for me since I notified them ahead of time it was my birthday, so I really appreciate that small touch. Finally, the last part of the room is the bathroom, which I love because it definitely feels like a Four Seasons bathroom. It has that classic modern design. This is the sink area. We got two sinks, and we also got a decent amount of counter space, and then up here we have a very large mirror. The bathtub is also pretty impressive as well because it is very deep. I mean, I feel like this is more of a jacuzzi than bathtub. And we also have one of these large rainfall showers, which is my favorite, and there's plenty of room in there as well. Finally, we have the toilet room, which I'm impressed with since it's fairly spacious, and there's even a painting in here as well. Overall, this is a plenty enough spacious room. I love the modernness of it, and this will definitely be a very comfortable stay. Now I'll be heading off to dinner at True Blue Cuisine, which is just a legendary Peranakan restaurant and a Singaporean staple. I just ordered my food here at True Blue Cuisine. I got a variety of different Peranakan dishes, but I want to start off with their most famous dish. The first dish I want to try is their most famous dish, which is chicken stewed in tamarind sauce, and they also include these famous Peranakan nuts, which are highly dangerous because they're very poisonous, so they have to be soaked in volcanic ash for 40 days and then carefully cooked in order for them to be safe to eat. But I know that they are safe to eat at this restaurant since it's so popular. They give you a little plastic spoon to scoop out the inside of the nuts, which are cracked in half, and then they said you must eat it with a little bit of rice. So here we go, a very interesting nut, probably one of the most unique foods I've ever even heard of. And then you first fry. Wow, that nut is so complex. The texture of it is very soft. At first, I taste a strong taste of chocolate and coffee. Then in the middle, I taste a sort of fermented soybean flavor, almost like Japanese miso. And then at the end, you get a mild, spicy finish. Wow, now I gotta go for that chicken. I have a feeling it's gonna go amazing in that sauce. Wow, that tastes totally different than it looks. It tastes very bright and fresh. I first taste a little bit of lemongrass, and I really get a citrusy, zesty flavor. And got the tender, fatty chicken. Then at the end, I get a bit of a savory and spicy finish. But it is not too spicy, just enough to enhance the flavor. I also got a vegetable dish. I got the vermicelli noodles along with a little bit of mushroom, Whittier mushroom, as well as cabbage. And that is just all stewed together. Well, that is so warm and comforting. It definitely tastes like a homemade dish. I mean, you have juicy pieces of cabbage as well as the earthiness from the mushrooms and Whittier mushrooms. And it definitely tastes like just something you would eat at the Peranakan home. Next, we have the rendang beef, which is beef in a spicy sauce. And this is another one of their popular dishes. Oh, that is delicious. The beef is definitely very lean, so it has a very heavy and rich beefy flavor. And then the sauce is the best part. It's a little bit spicy, but more than that, it's just very flavorful. I mean, there's so much tang from all the lemongrass in there, and I can tell they're using very fresh lemongrass because it's got so much citrusy flavor. I mean, it literally makes your mouth water after just taking one bite. Finally, I ordered the omelet with the wild pepper leaf, which sounded extremely intriguing because I love pepper, so I'm curious to see what pepper leaf is like. Oh, that is amazing. That's just like a deep fried omelet. So the outside is very crunchy and crisp, and the inside is so juicy. And then you also have the leaves mixed on the inside. And the wild pepper leaves surprisingly have a very subtle taste. It just tastes like a little bit green. I just finished my meal here, and this was a remarkable experience. This was my first time trying Peranakan food, and I'm telling you, it did not disappoint. My favorite for sure was that dish with the chicken and tamarind sauce and the buah keluak nut. I mean, the buah keluak nut is fascinating since it has to be soaked in volcanic ash for 40 days, and then it must be cooked very carefully, then it must be sniffed to see if the nut has gone bad. It definitely takes a true expert to make that dish, and takes trust in the customer to trust the chef with that dish. The service here was also incredible, as well as the atmosphere. I mean, the Peranakan auntie working there made it really feel like your grandma was making dinner for you. As it was my first time trying Peranakan food, she was very helpful and recommended some of the most popular dishes, so I really appreciate her warm hospitality. This is by far the most memorable and delicious meal I've had here in Singapore, and I've had some incredible food already, so I'm telling you, if you're in Singapore, you have to check out True Blue Cuisine for their Peranakan food, and make sure to make reservations early in advance, because I'm telling you, this place is popular and it deserves the popularity. I'm back again in my room, and this was another magical day in Singapore. Yes, Chinatown was great, but the real height was that Peranakan dinner. Tomorrow's my second to last day in Singapore, and I'll be trying some of the last iconic Singaporean dishes that are on my list. As always, I really hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure if you did, give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.